Thanks for staying with us. So, as usual, we're minding our business. When story broke. And we couldn't wait till Thursday to discuss this because we just thought it was an important conversation. You know, there's just so much happening in the country. There's so much to learn, you know. So yesterday, as Nigerians were minding their business, news broke that a popular gospel artist, Sammie Okposo, took to his social media page to publicly admit to cheating on his wife and apologized to her profusely. Said that he cheated on her while he was in the U.S. He also announced his decision to step away from the ministry, pending full restoration. Meanwhile, he administered last Sunday in church. Just that's by the way. According to reports, this is not the first time Sammie Okposo will be apologizing because he committed some kind of adultery or fornication. Now, this is an interesting story, not because of the gist factor, no. It's interesting because lots of women need to learn. Because we also took a story of a woman whose husband allegedly cheated on her, and she allegedly took iron on him. We don't know if it was hot iron, whatever it is. And then the man has died. Now, there's an issue. So I know a lot of women, maybe not all women, always have this thing in their head where they prepare for their, when the news comes, like you have, okay, what is my reaction? What would I do when that thing happens, when I get this news that the average woman dreads? So your head thinking, I will use a knife, I will use iron, I will break his head, I'll pour water on this. You know, you have it in your mind. And then when the news comes, because subconsciously you prepared your mind that, it is hot iron or it is knife, you go ahead and do it, and before you know it, somebody is dead. So the real question is, what are our lessons from Sammie Okposo? We're not here to trash or bash anybody because we never know. Life happens to people all the time. The perfect marriage can go sour because of anything. So let's not act as if we're all perfect. Anything can happen. Yep. It's still Nigeria, right? We're still here. So let's hear your thoughts on what are the lessons all parties can learn from this very, very worrying domestic matter. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also send us tweets on hashtag YourViewTVC. We'd love to read your tweets, and messages on YouTube and Facebook. We'll also be happy to read your messages. All right, so this thing happened. Now, to set the foundation, this is not the first time. Sammie Okposo is like, we know now. Is it not Sammie Okposo? Not today.
My God.
Yeah, there's that. There are men like this. Not today. You know. When you heard the news, what are your thoughts on this? Let's start from his angle. Auntie.
Yeah, I was just happy for him.
You're happy for him?
He's a worry guy, and he showed it. I felt that he needed to come out with his side quickly, because this, of course, was going to come and scatter his image, and it would look bad if he was responding. So just let me lie my lie, let me insult myself, or whatever. If you want to blackmail me, let's put it out there. Let everybody cuckoo see what happened. So he came out with an apology to his wife, to his congregation and supporters, and people he religiously looks up to. Yeah. And then he confessed about what he had done, and he admitted this was wrong, that he was feeling bad about it. And he put it there before we saw the side of the other person at all. And heard any of those stories that, you know, of course, can destroy his image. Unfortunately, the image out there gone is something else, because, you know, this, according to reports that were now coming out, and some that we already knew, was a trend, something that he would do from time to time. Then, you know, so he's someone that has two personalities for me. He's a religious man, but he's a man of humor. He's not a man of God.
Okay, so let me come to another person. Mariam, your thoughts on this?
Okay, so for me, it's just the angle of maybe we should start looking at sex addiction critically. A lot of people have tried to explain it to say, well, that's the thing we've been telling you, African men are polygamous in nature. And I'm saying, is marrying someone the same as a lustful, illicit affair? Is that how you marry someone, that you're polygamous in nature? Does that mean that every person you have an ill-conceived relationship with justifies the fact that you're polygamous. If we're going to chase a wife you're bringing home, would you not do it properly? And would you not sort of inform the person that you're already in a monogamous relationship or a relationship with or marriage with and say, Madam, there's a likelihood I might be adding 1 or 2 wives. So this person is aware. You're not doing it behind the person's back. You haven't told the person this is what you're doing. Somebody fell pregnant by you, all of a sudden is justification for the fact that black men are polygamous in nature. What happens to the white men that do this? Do you understand? How then do you explain that? How then do you explain the women who they've done DNA and found out that their children are not their husbands? Does that mean that black women are polygamous in nature as well? And so we should now let everybody to... So I think that because of the story, I was saying to Tokwe yesterday that while I was in Jos a long time ago, I'd heard a story about him, you know, so it didn't really come as a shock just for me. And I thought maybe we should look at, maybe some people have a problem and they need help with, they cry for help for something. And then if the wife is also aware of this problem, because a lot of people now are saying that woman should be carrying placard on her behalf. I know she should leave. She may know that this is what he is and what he has been dealing with, and they've been working.
All right, let me come to talk with your initial thoughts on this.
My initial thought on this is, he who has no sin, cast the first stone. That was my first thought, because I read the comments on social media and I was like, you holy Abi. He who has no sin should cast the first stone. Every malam within kettle. Now the person where they catch be thief. You know, so I feel really bad that we have some people castigating and insulting. I feel really bad that some people feel like, oh, his ministry is nothing because he sinned, you know. And I have been blessed by his song. He's a powerful worshiper. He's an amazing singer. He is not perfect, just like every one of us. And I think that it's insulting him is not going to solve any problem. Let's deal with the issues, compartmentalizing it.
Let me stay on that for a second, because that's a very important point. Somebody will ask a critical question, like, can I separate his ministry from his act? Just like you said, there are 2 different things, right, from what you're saying. There are 2 different human beings. Yes, he's human. He has sinned, he erred, and God may have forgiven him and moved on, and God will hug him right away. But we humans are there, say, this man that cheated on his wife, he's there on the pulpit singing and ministering to us. Can we, as human beings, accept him?
So I was driving towards something, and I think that that's a good question to ask. But in that journey is the fact that in his relationship, obviously it's obvious he has issues with ability to control himself with the opposite sex. That has been in his entire trajectory right from way back. However, you will still see someone who wants to serve God, who feels like he has a musical gift. He could choose to use this to sing any other thing, but he's singing for God. So he's on that journey and he should be judged by God. Now, can you now say you want to discredit his music or discredit anything that he's doing, or he cannot minister anymore? I don't think that's the right approach, because we've seen several cases of people in the Bible. Several. David is the first one everybody uses. You say, even David, David has several issues, and he still went back to God, and God will accept him. That's the kind of God we serve. So human beings should learn to separate that. As human, he is philandering. That's his own sin. Somebody else is backbiting.
Yes,
somebody is backbiting, like anything you hear like this, the next person will hear it. Somebody else is stealing. He cannot see 2 things, he will take it. He's adding 0, he's conniving in the office. Every man with tickets, all of us carry sin. You know, because if we are holy, then we have no need for God. But in this place, there's no justification for what he's done, because he's been unfaithful to his wife, who is committed to.
Okay, let's go to this unfaithful. But this is a man. I like to go to his antecedents of when he was, I think it was suspended from Paul Adefaras's church for something similar. We heard, you know, was having an affair, according to the story, that was having affairs with some church choir members. And so you that you went to go and marry, as a woman, you went to go and marry a man that has baggage. He has done this, he has done that. But as a Christian woman, I'm saying, he has asked God for forgiveness. God has forgiven. He's a new man. All things are passed away. Behold, things have become new. So we are now new creatures. And now he has committed himself 100% to you. So if you're in this woman's shoes, how would you take this in? Would you say, listen, it was an error? It's an error. There was something that happened from the past. This is your behavior. I thought you had changed. Whatever, you're still struggling. I'm willing to stay with you to work through it. Or carry your bag and go because this person was willing to possibly ask this lady for an abortion.
That's what we're going.
So that's the naughty issue, Mariam.
Yeah. So, you know, like I said earlier, that the wife may be very well aware of his indiscretions and his weakness, and maybe they have decided to work on it. So that's why I was talking about sex addiction. It's a thing. Yeah. People go to therapy for things like that. And maybe sometimes we should just stop making it about, oh, he just likes women too. What was his trauma? What did he go through when he was growing up? And what is it that he can... And if it's something that they already agreed to work on while being married, then she may not see it as a shock the way we're seeing it. She may not see it as... It may even be for her maybe a win. Like, oh, we've done 3 years and we did not have this issue. Or we've done 5 years and this issue hasn't come up. But if this marriage was based on, I promise to abide by you, I'm faithful, I would never do this again, then I guess it really depends on her. I know of many women who have stayed with philandering men for many years, for all their marital lives. And they'll tell you because he's so many other things. He's such a good husband. He's such a good father. He's everything. He provides. He has never hit me before. And then there's some people who would say, yes, he's not philandering, but, you know, he doesn't really take care of his family. So I know that women constantly juggle that. But I think where this is a problem for me is the part of the person responding, which is, he abandoned me. He didn't want to talk about it. Suggested that we should go have an abortion. This was not someone, to me, that was willing to confess. This was someone that was caught. So was he compelled to confess? Was this confession done before, you know, if this confession was done long before we even heard from her and things like that, and maybe the wife also was aware, then I would say maybe it came from the good place.
I want to go on a break, but is it fair to make that statement? Because this is a man that has apologized and has voluntarily said, I'm stepping down from ministry. Is it not fair to say, oh, he's saying that because he was caught? Is that a fair statement? Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So this matter, as I said, is a matter that everybody wants to learn from, because many of us are married, we have families, and we're thinking, hey, it could be anybody. Let's not even pretend. It could be anybody. Because every woman, married woman especially, dread this information. Everybody, it's one thing you have in your mind, hey, the day I will hear, I mean, you know, you're just thinking in your head. We all have it, that's the truth. So when one woman is now facing that issue, it's not to laugh at her or mock her. It's more about how do we learn from this situation? How do we prepare our minds so we don't have dead bodies? Just like the other people who are saying they are killing their husband, they're stabbing their husband. We don't want that. So how do we do this thing reasonably? So let's take a few tweets before we go ahead.
Okay, so Mr. Ajabara says, Topper should stop justifying the acts from Okposo. He's not singing for God, but for his own gains. Just a point of correction. He's using the fame now to sleep with ladies all over to the extent of asking for abortion. And he says, Sammy was addicted to the habit of philandering. He's well known and has got a track history. He doesn't deserve to move close to ministering. He was smart to out the statement before we heard from other media. He is a serial offender. And one more from Bilkis says, let him go work on his weakness. If he's standing on the pulpit, he must be held to a higher standard. Exactly. And he's doing a horrible job of being morally decent. He should stick to his music with a different theme. It was a good decision he took to step down.
Okay. So I asked the question before, and I'll come to our caller, who's, that is it fair to say he's only saying that because he was caught? Especially when a man has said, listen, I am sorry. And he truthfully is saying he stepped down voluntarily. He wasn't compelled. He stepped down from his ministry.
It's subjective.
Yeah. You right? Yeah. Let me take Michael and I'll come to you. Michael, are you there?
Very subjective.
Hello, Michael?
Hello, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
Excuse me, I would say he's very remorseful for him apologizing to his wife. Because if the wife, like, for how many, I don't know how many years they've gotten married. the wife should know the type of man is married to because and he's battling.
I need you to reduce the volume of the TV. We can't hear you properly, please.
Okay,
Go ahead, Mary.
Okay, so God is of purity. We certainly cannot meet God's standards of, of purity, cleanliness, holiness, and all of that. No, we cannot. But we cannot be seen not to be trying. And, I hail this guy. For me, Sammie Okposo is a proper worry. Streets. He's not, forget all the holy, from what I've read about him and over the years, not just recently, this is a person who, when he needs to be, is human. Shop his life. The calling that Tokpa is calling for him is a business. This is a means to earning his living. So he's not your proper man of God. Because if he was, just like one of the tweets you read, there's a standards that which you must hold yourself. It means that you're telling people that I am closer to God. I am your means. Because sometimes they say they pray for you, the man of God, they see of you. So God does not just talk to anyone. There's a purity you must constantly be striving to have. God is all forgiving. That's what my Quran says. So you can fall on the side once in a while, but not continuously. So if you fall on the side and you get a woman pregnant, you don't cover it up and say, get an abortion. Because that in itself is murder. So now, if you fall on the side, before somebody starts to say you're asking for abortion, you would have opened up to your wife. If you're of God, that not even when she gets pregnant, when you ate and slept, not from the messages that we read, it will not be a transaction. I mean, what's that city? They use one city in the America. Do you want a ticket? Will you be around? This was a transaction. This is you calling out a lady to have a relationship with her, even though you know you're married. So a married man who is supposedly a man of God will call a woman and say, no, this is wrong. Or women will be falling over themselves. But you were asking this lady. Obviously, you had the intentions to do this, and we have it covered up. And so when we sit here and we water it down, the way Tokpa watered it down that time.
reminding us that everybody's a sinner.
When you use that word, that's why we have popularized the unpopular. What's supposed to be unpopular? You know, when Princess and myself had a face-off here, it was because the things that we will be ashamed of when we do them in secret, we will pray they remain there forever. Yeah. We will constantly be fighting them in our corners and never wish were the things that, we were just talking about them as if they were normal. Yeah. And that's the line of who is without sin. There's a standard we are all striving to achieve.
Let me take this call from Peter. Good morning, Peter. Are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I'm actually going to talk about this issue from the angle of a pastor. If since he belongs to a church, and he comes out, to me, it's just a stunt to save himself before any embarrassment comes from wherever. Because if really you were sorry, you go to your pastor. Tell your pastor in the congregation, because biblically what he did was very wrong. And that itself will tell you what kind of mind he has. You go to your pastor, you tell it. The Bible says you cannot bring such, how dare you bring such matters that we're supposed to solve in the house and bring it outside in public. Then the Bible ends with that. Are we not able to judge angels? He would have brought it to his pastor. And I'm sure if he had brought it to his pastor would not tell him to go public. But those are things that are sacred in the house of God, because people will not really see him as Sammie Okposo. It is the church. And once it becomes anything that has to do with minister that is behind the pulpit, they begin to judge everything. It's a very sensitive matter. But I think Sammie Okposo, if he is really repentant, he knows exactly what to do, not to come to media and start to do a public stunt. Thank you.
All right. So, Nima, I'll reply you. Of course, we know what is right from what is wrong, and nobody is trying to say that what she did is right. What I'm saying is we don't sit in judgment of what is done. There is a process. The thing about church is that I've been in a church where one of our youth pastors got married, and his wife gave birth less than 9 months after the marriage. We didn't need anybody to calculate it for us. He wasn't a premature baby. Pastor was doing something before he got married. And the moment he gave birth, he wasn't allowed to step on the pulpit. He didn't even sit where he used to sit. Like, they moved him to the back of the church. For 2 years, that was his punishment. So there are ways to, and I like the last caller, there are ways you address these issues. However, I was responding to the social media comments to him, saying that, oh, this person, this, that, and I was like, there's nothing for you to sit in judgment. This man has goofed. He was a major goof, major one, and he's goofed several times. So the idea is, can we deal with the fact that there is a problem? And we need to address how to stop him from goofing, because pointing fingers isn't going to stop him from goofing. They've insulted him before. There was a time this story broke, really, when they were still at Muson Center, the House on the Rock. The story was everywhere about what he was doing, and women were fighting each other inside the church, hoping that they would be the one to marry him. So he's had this issue a long time ago. When we don't address the issue, it's like pointing fingers. He needs to be helped psychologically to deal with the problem.
See, Morale, the first solution to a problem a person has is admitting that problem. If I know, like me, I talk too much, that I talk too much, my first solution is to know that I talk too much. If somebody is telling me I talk too much, I won't feel insulted. You know in your heart that you have that defect. Is he admitting that this is a way that I have, this, what do you call it, that mental sex addiction, that I am sexually addicted, or I'm addicted to sex? This is English. So is he admitting it and seeking solutions so that when he falls by the wayside, we say, no, this is a problem he's already dealing with, or this is a guy, my guy kind of mentality. See how
fine his wife is. You know that. So the question again.
What
you have a wife. What do these men want? What do men want? You have a woman who's such a treasure. Hang there.
How do they get
that woman is such a gorgeous woman. And those who know her say she's like a very fantastic human being. You have a trophy that people even think you don't even deserve. Yes. Because you don't physically look like you deserve it.
Apart from that.
And you have I'm just saying that. You don't look like you deserve that kind of person. Because when he married her, we're like, how did he, what did he even tell this woman? When did he talk to her? Is it that jazz? You now have that. You now carry good. Come on. Who are you again?
So for me, I think that's why it explains it. That's what explains it. There must be a problem. There is a problem.
Okay.
Because when you have something that is so beautiful and so, that you treasure, and you're going out to people or things that are less than what you have at home, then you definitely have a problem. And that
if you have a good woman at
home. All right, let's go on a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing Sammie Okposo, and I think there are different angles. There's so many angles to this story. First, he's a minister in the house of God. He cheated on his wife. The woman he cheated with, saying that he was suggesting to her that she should abort the pregnancy, and then he's apologized to the church and to his wife, and the people, the Nigerians are saying, oh, he wouldn't have apologized if he didn't, if this woman hadn't come or threatened to come out on this story. But there's a main issue we have not talked about. If the wife is our sister in this situation, what kind of conversation would we have with her? Because I said, every woman, we're in this net. As long as you are married to somebody, you are committed to one person. You are in this net. Every man is also in this net because your wife can cheat on you. So we are all in this net where we all dread this conversation. But one of our sisters now have to face this conversation. And if she was your sister, what kind of conversation would you have with her? Before I take that from you, let me take this call. Good morning. Are you there? Okpe? Hello, Okpe. You're live. Hello, Okpe. Please call Okpe back because she's been holding for a while. Okpe, are you there? I think we lost Okpe. All right. So, in that situation, what do you do?
This is what I would say. No. There's nothing coming from up that ground cannot take.
Yes.
Ground is wide enough for all the things coming from up. And you're not the first. Just like you said, it's been the fates or things that our mothers have dealt with. Let's leave the men now because, we are in a patriarchal society and it's populated that, this saying is populated that a man is born polygamous, men are polygamous by nature and all of that. So we get women dished.
Okay, let me pause you. I'm so that Okwe is still there. Okwe, are you there? Hello, Okwe? She really wants to contribute, but we can't hear her. Go ahead, Nima.
So this is where I would say to her, for your sanity, always, always, always about your sanity every time. Don't get too emotional and don't listen to the emotional statements around. Just yesterday, I was advising a friend, see, if you get emotional, this matter is going to get further complicated. You have to be very strategic about it. This is not the kind of matter, actually this kind of thing, when there's a woman pregnant outside, you have to break it well. Now that, you know, she needed a shoulder to cry and she has finished crying. And I say, Auntie, this is not a matter to be emotional about. She felt, can you say such a thing? Can you take it? I said, every day, me, I'm schooling myself. I grew up, my uncles were dishing it regular. So I've told myself where I want to be. This was my fate. Shift, let's sit down. Yep. You have children. How many children do you have? Children, see your step ones. I don't want to give myself a headache in my life. I just don't want to. Right. So for me to be telling you, it's not me being hard. If you run yourself into the emotions, oh, it broke my heart. You promised me.
Why are you making it so
look at the look at the pedigree, look at the
handwriting was on the wall.
The person's nature.
Yeah. You're not marrying a Jew. You're marrying
even if you did, even if you did marry one.
Yes.
Because you know, I come from a place where men just say to the woman, well, if you kill yourself, I will marry and join you. It was a popular statement. So you give the power to that person who thinks that that's something to deal with you with. I had someone who said, okay, you have WAEC, you're proud because I didn't go to school. I always telling me every day, oh, don't worry, I know what to do. When he came with the second wife, she had the BSc. The third one had their masters. The next one had the PhD. Just so that this wife would kill herself.
Oh, man.
How can somebody live in that kind of marriage? So you take back the power. You say, go ahead, that's your decision. And I take care of my children.
Let me take this call. Good morning, are you there? Juliana, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
In the house.
Morning.
I want to stay with Miriam on this morning because who said Miriam is not a life coach, you know? Because she really sticks to the matter here this morning because these men, most of the married women know their husband's dirty linings. So probably they have been dealing with this. I know sometimes most issues, by the time they come on social media,
oh, we really wanted to get to Juliana. I'm sorry about that. So she was leaning towards the fact that, listen, you know this thing, it's possible that she may have known. So, as I said...
It's not possible. The man had... The handwriting was very on the wall. The man had antecedents.
So if you have to talk to somebody
so you entered into it.
You're talking to a sister whose husband, you already know that, okay, all the girls in choir,
he had children already.
This guy has one child here, he has here. So this is the kind of person you're getting married. Now you've entered the boat with him. And now we're here with the child. What would you tell her? Okay.
So what I would say to a woman in that situation is it takes two to tango. A marriage does not work because a woman wants it to work. A marriage would only work because the two of you are committed to making it work. Both of you have said, you have disappointed me, I'm unhappy. For us to continue, we both need to agree to these terms. You can't do this again. If you do it, this is what will happen. Or I'm going to allow you to do this because you are doing this for me. Like, that conversation must be had between the two parties and a neutral, respected body who would understand that I am interfacing with this. If a woman continues, like, you hear this news and you just continue with the marriage, I don't know the kind of heart you have, but, and I know Nima said we shouldn't be emotional about it, but you're in a marriage with someone. There is no way for you not to be emotional about it. So if you are in that space, for you to protect your emotion, you might need to step out and seek a way to ensure the man understands that this thing, I must be committed to it. So it takes two to make it work. A woman cannot make it work by herself. Neither can a man make the marriage work by himself. Both of you need to agree and commit to these things, because there would always be things in skirts that look attractive. So he needs to develop that level of love and respect for you. Not even self-control. The level of love and respect. That when he sees that thing, the thing comes to meet him. Like birthday suits. He will just look at it and say, I cannot, my wife. Is that respect? Because your body will do everything it can do. So but if you cannot do it, then
it's hard to remove emotions from this. And I'll come to you, Mariam, because we don't see the full picture. You know, part of the picture could be where, you know his history, and both of us, before we seal this knot, We made a promise to each other. Yes, you've done this in the past, but now it's a new clean slate. You're promising me 100%, and I trusted you. So it's a trust which he also acknowledged he has broken.
Yes.
So this is a critical question for this person. Somebody has broken your trust. How do you find it to forgive the person? I mean, I'll take this call. I'll come to you, Mariam. I think I have Clara. Clara, are you there? Hello, Clara, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Sure.
Mariam, please, let me hear your thoughts.
Okay, so let me just start by reading this tweet. It says, no matter what admonition anybody gives, at the end of the day, it's the wife that decides if she can live with the situation or walk away for her peace of mind. What's her threshold is different strokes for different folks. And that's just really it. You know, we would say different things. I understand what you mean about love and respect, but you've heard men say things like, I don't love her. She was just a thing, a fling. You I love and I respect. If you leave me, you will destroy my world. What I did was a weakness. What I did was, you know, something that I regret.
All those lyrics.
Well, they could be lyrics. They could be somebody.
They could be sincere.
Good. So we have this story of Tiger Woods. We remember the story of how when it first came out, his wife chased him with a golf club because she caught him cheating, not realizing he had cheated with almost the whole of America. And then they realized that he had a problem with, you know, sex. And, you know, and she decided not to stay with him. She decided, see, go and sort yourself out, but I'm leaving this marriage. And that is, in the end, you know, that decision lies on the woman. Is this something I'm willing to work with him with, you know? Because some people will have, I always say there are some people that have eating disorder. Every day you're eating, you are trying to help you lose weight. And this man is there working with you, helping you lose weight. He recognized your own weakness. Are you willing to recognize his own weakness and work with him?
Let me take this call. Thank you. Beatrice. Beatrice, are you there? Hello, Beatrice, you're live. I think our phone lines are having issues too. Hello, Beatrice. Really, really want to hear. I can't hear her.
When I said that your sanity is 100% important, it didn't mean that you must stay and make it work. But for some women, their realities is that if they leave, they can't deal. For some, they can just be, leaving might make them an entire mess. And then leaving means, you know, you're going with a baggage. Now I'm helping someone find her feet because she's been in a marriage, she married at 20. She's been in that marriage for 10 years, 4 children. She's never had a job. So if that kind of person wants to leave, where is she leaving to, you know? So for some people, you face your reality, and I said strategic. So for some women, they will say, okay, this is what I need from you. I know someone when I was growing up who would monetize every fling her husband had. And I would just sit down and be asking her, she said, shut up your mouth. I just need him to train these children. And she took herself away from her marital rights in that marriage and stayed and said, when my children get to a certain age, thankfully, she's still married to the same person. They're older now. They dealt with it. But for some people leave their marriages at the age at 30 years of their anniversary. So for some, they're sitting there for, be strategic, whatever works for you. Don't let anybody decide it for you because they will not help you carry that burden. If you have 5 children or you have certain things to, whatever you're staying for, know it. Be clear about it. What is important is whatever works for your sanity.
A woman who marries a man who already has this history, should cheating be a deal breaker for you? Like, you already know, like, I already knew that they said that all the choir members, you did it. You have child, all this, you didn't know. I know who I'm marrying. So as my mind should also be prepared. Okay, as I enter this one, there's a possibility somewhere, even though he has asked God for mercy and he has forgiveness and didn't come, somewhere down, like, this might happen. No, so if I'm prepared with that mindset, maybe this isn't a deal breaker. Hey, it has happened. As long as he's present, he's come back, we're good to go.
Sometimes you'll be prepared, you get it, and then you realize, I don't think I can handle this. And I think it's your right to decide I can't handle it and leave. Because your sanity comes
now,
first.
let's now go to the other woman. I want to also finish up with
I'll finish with that. If you're staying, don't just stay. Because maybe they're giving you pocket money. If you're staying, be saving. For women who are not empowered. If you're staying, be saving. Someone I know did a trust. She had only 1 child. She did a trust for that child. She said, all I am earning, so that they don't pack property together, because there's something called joint account, joint property, and her next of kin is still the same man. So they don't mix everything together.
Can I ask a simple question?
Sit down well and know what you're doing.
And I can't ask it in English, because I don't know how to say it in English. Because he has really dated some really powerful people.
Yeah.
A whole heavy.
Let's talk about that.
No, a whole Ketenshaw has been there. A whole Stella Damascus has been there. A whole Gloria Ibu has been there. So this guy now.
Let's talk about it.
I mean, like,
I think there's a spirit around people that can sing. There's just something about, they have this aura, they just drag you.
Our producer is looking for the
They say former most beautiful girl in Nigeria, Janet Pataya. Imagine that.
Okay, so
that's one thing I've noticed, especially in church when you're on the pulpit. Sometimes you see them when they're singing.
Music.
The Holy Spirit seems as if it has landed on their own head. So I just feel that's unctioning, that power just is attractive.
That's why they say open your eye when you fall in love.
Yes.
So as you're falling, make sure you're not falling.
We need to wrap up. Let me take Margaret and I'll come to you. Yeah. Margaret, are you there? Final caller on this. Girl. Sorry.
So let me just say that.
I
think that women, there's a part of looks, but women fall more for what they hear, because it connects to how they feel. So you might think you see some people that they don't really look it, but when they wax their lyrics, it touches. So it's not really about
the music.
Yes, it's the lyrics. Yes, what is he saying? What is he saying to them?
That guy, worried guy, looks like that. Look, they always have
its mouth.
Its mouth.
Yes, its mouth.
But even the musicians are not Christian musicians.
Yes, people fall for them.
They guess its mouth.
See the way one girl was grabbing whiskey. I'm like, whiskey can give all these people easily.
That's something about that music. So when they said Lucifer used to sing for God,
He's not Lucifer. Anyway, we have to wrap up. But I wanted us to wrap up.
Oh my God.
To say about the other lady. Is there any importance?
Yes.
For her?
Please.
Do we have any importance?
I feel that
I don't like talking about the other lady.
I think that we've just watched. A lot of people did not acknowledge the fact that that lady is a full-grown adult.
Yes.
Knows the man is a married man, and went ahead with the affair consistently enough to get pregnant. You know, when one is a mistake.
She agrees that she went into it.
Thank you.
She already knows it. She owned this her full chest. No, I'm a very woman. She owned that. When I did it. We both did it. I was wrong.
This lady.
And she's keeping it.
People do these things. They have flings. They have. This lady felt that she did that. But what hurts the most is that just the sweet mouth. Is the sweet mouth that they use for housewife, they use for outsider. It's the sweet mouth that worked for her. What pained her was the total
disrespect. You are pushing
push aside about the belly, and that's it. For some people,
the relationship was
she is now attached to pregnancy. She's attached to her own child.
We don't talk about one thing, no.
Why don't you use a condom?
What if you carry AIDS?
God.
What if you carry HIV?
You didn't protect yourself.
And then you go back
Maybe he brought his medical report.
but really, it's part of the irresponsibility.
Yeah.
You should use protection. If you are cheating, if you're going to go outside, please protect yourself because of your wife. Because you don't know what. Yeah, all the way in America, it's like Nigeria, you can say we don't have AIDS here. I'm just saying, but all the way in America, all the relationship that they have there, you now bring it to Nigeria. Come on. I mean, come on.
I think it's disrespect to the wife to have unprotected sex like that and expose her to any kind of sexually transmitted disease. Not even.
We have to wrap up.
It's even just the fact that
now let's speak to the man, the principal in this. What do we say to Sammie Okposo in this situation? Let me start. You're worried person.
No, not guy, not my guy.
Okay, so what would you tell him? What would you tell him? What would you tell him if he was your brother? If he was your brother, let's talk about his brother. What would you tell him now at this moment?
If he was my brother, he would have 4 wives.
Okay,
he's my grandfather's grandson.
Okay, so
you will help him.
So you help him to bring it in.
I will accept all of them.
So just bring her as wife, second wife. And you were like, okay, so that's your...
beg our yale, no problem.
You can't beg your yale, it's allowed to enter. Okay, cool. Mariam, he's your brother.
Wives?
What would you say?
You go, and you need to step aside like you have done. Yes. And with your wife, let her decide what she wants to do with you going forward. That's it.
If Sammie Okposo was my brother, I'll be like, guy, you form my hand. Like you form my hand. Like you're too old to do this kind of thing. You're too experienced to do this kind of thing. Not be today, you know. And of course, the expectation will be you need to man up, take responsibility for the pregnancy, take responsibility to preserve your home, and more importantly, live up to a higher standard for the ministry you carry.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yes,
I think I don't have any advice.
After I put us on advice, you must advise.
No, I mean, for me, I think if it was my brother, just like you rightly said, he has obviously goofed. Owning up is very important. He must take responsibility for the child also. And he must be willing to do everything within his power to keep that marriage. Because obviously, he has promised this woman that this will never happen, I'm sure. So you have broken a trust. And trust doesn't get rebuilt overnight. It takes years. And you must do it in your behavior, in your acts. Every single thing you do, you must dance to her tune. Just say you don't come for her. For the next no matter how long it takes, you're going to do what it takes to get this woman to earn her trust back. If you want the trust, if you want that marriage.
Let me add quickly that because this has happened and the divorces might happen, respect this woman, the woman at home. No matter the circumstance, you've disrespected her.
Enough.
You put her name on blogs, and it will be online for a long time in this way.
Yeah.
So not that Nigerians, when we now pass this, you now say, but you too, please never disrespect her again.
Yeah.
Not even in your comments, in anything. Act responsibly.
That's all we can take on this Sammie Okposo matter. When we come back, another gist. Stay with us. We'll be right back.